Good day everyone, welcome to another Prism Caribbean video. I am your tutor, Jordan Jaffa, and today we'll be going through a new topic called statistics, which we are now going to start. This topic is, of course, relatively simple, just with some practice, practice makes perfect, right? So to start off, there are particular charts that we need to learn with the topic of statistics. But before I get into that, just for to jog the memory of everyone, if you may recall learning the basics of statistics, that is with mode, mean, median, frequency, relative frequency, pie chart, bar, graphs, right? So before I go on to math, I just want to go over some graphs which are quite essential. So the first graph I would like you all to remember is the bar graph, right? If you may recall, the bar graph seems something like this. This is basically the bar graph, if you may recall. The histogram on the other end looks pretty much similar to a bar graph, right? Where you have some data, right? It's pretty much looks like a bar graph, right? Then you have relative frequency histogram, right? Where you might start off here and you might put a dot at the middle of each point and draw a line connecting them all, right? And this is the relative frequency histogram, right? Now another thing you may need to learn is the pie chart. So the pie chart basically looks like this. It's basically a circle with some spaces reserved. Depending on the data, the bar graph can carry particular angles, different angles, that is, right? And that's just the gist of the pie chart. Right, another chart that you need to learn is the line graph, right? So let me just okay, I can fit it here. This is the pie chart. Now this here is the line graph. Yeah, so for the line graph now, it's a really nice graph to draw. It's pretty simple. So for the line graph, you have particular points on a graph, right? And so what you basically do, instead of drawing a line of best fit, you simply just join the points. So I'm going to do that a little bit better so you can see exactly what I mean, right? So you basically start from the origin. We came here, we go through each dot as it is, and this is a line graph. That's it, right? So with the line graph, you do not draw any best fit line. You just connect the dots as is, right? And that's it pretty much with the graphs, right? So another thing I would like to show you all is just, we have two types of data. You have group data and you have ungrouped data, right? And what basically group data is data that is grouped, maybe like hold on. Yeah. So like in group data, this can be like a class interval, right? And an ungrouped data will be more like individual point data, which we will get to know, right? So let's say we have, right, yeah. So now we will be going on to some frequency formulae. Relative frequency. This is relative frequency, right? Right. So for relative frequency, the formula is R dot F is equal to frequency of the event over the total frequency. Right? Now, with relative frequency percent, it's the same formula. Let me just rewrite that here. Multiply by 100%. Right? So now we're going to go through this in terms of an example, just to give you a brief overview of what is expected of a topic like this, right? So, right. So let's say, okay. So this question which I'm going to bring out is from the Mathematics, a Complete Course by Mr. Raymond Tulsi, right? And I see a really nice question with regards to an ungrouped data, right? This question asks to construct a frequency table for a given set of scores, right? And because of I can't take the whole question and put it on the board, I will basically summarize it in the form of a table, right? So basically we have a particular table here, right? So we have score, right, and then tally, right? We have a score 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then we have a tally. Alright, I'm almost done. Right, so now what we can do is that we can get now the frequency from this. Of course, the frequency will come from the tally. So this tally here means 5, right? 5 and 5 is 10, 11, 12. This is 3. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 5 and 3 is 8. This is 4. This is 5, and of course this is 4 again. So let's say a question asks us to find the frequency, right? Let me just write that in a different color. Frequency of score, let's say in this case 5, right? Right. So now we basically look at the score 5, which in this case is this here. Score 5 is 4 in the frequency. And now we have to recall the formula for frequency. Well, sorry, relative frequency. Relative frequency is equal to the frequency of the event over the total frequency. Right? So we have to find the total frequency, right? And just putting this into a calculator to find, right, we will get the total frequency to be 50. So putting this into the formula, the relative frequency of score 5 is equal to the frequency of the event, which is in this case 4, over the total frequency, which is 50, which will basically give us 0.08 when we divide it, right, when we get the final answer. Now let's say we want the relative frequency of a score more than 4. So more than 4 will be 4, 5, and 4. Well, in this case, sorry, I should look at it on this case, sir. Yeah. So more than 4 will be everything underneath 4, which will be 5, 6, and 7, right? And the frequency which it totals to will be 4, 5, and 4, which is 13. So using the formula, we will have 13 over 50, which is equal to 0.26. Of course, you can't put this as a percentage unless the question directly asks you for decimal or percentage. Do as the question says, right? And this is a brief introduction into the topic of statistics, right? Statistics is actually not a long topic. Most past papers, they tend to carry the same format with regards to how the question comes each year, and so it really isn't anything too hard to learn. With practice, of course, practice makes perfect. I am your tutor, Jordan Jaffa. This has been a wonderful intro to statistics for Prism Caribbean, and I do look forward to seeing you in the next session to come. Thank you.